had students work on this on and off over the years and have been meaning to get to a lesson on this for a really long time. It's just been a bit of an obstacle because it's really hard to play and hard to get through from beginning to end. So, in the interest of getting the lesson started, because many times what I do with this particular piece, by the way, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. This is Villa Lobos Etude number 1. He wrote 12 of these for guitar, for the guitar in 1929, I think published in Paris in 1929. And guitar players, he wrote great stuff for guitar. Even these etudes are great exercises. Everyone has a little different slant to it and focus on one thing or another. This first one is just a very simple, he says, arpeggio exercise, playing one note at a time and keeping a little pattern of 8, well, that uses all 6 strings up and down, running through a whole bunch of chords. Eventually we end up with some diminished chords that just ascend. So a little of this is an endurance kind of thing too, just getting through all of these patterns and trying to keep it interesting and not too boring, and finally it gets broken up with a little something like that. I need to work on that still a little bit. And a beautiful ending, I'll skip to it right away. Some nice chords, little A minor chord. Anyway, there you have the condensed version. I will get to a full playthrough on this somewhere down the line, but as a demonstration. But what I usually have students do with this, and we'll kind of be putting out segments of this gradually over the next few weeks, maybe. I'm not sure yet. But I like to get people started with this with just the right hand exercise and playing some simple chords, not worrying about everything else that happens. So let me bring the camera in here and talk about what's going on with the right hand, but we're going to do just an exercise going from an E minor chord to A minor, back to E minor, and then to B7, but we need to play the B7 with F sharp in the bass so we can play all 6 strings. It's going to sound like this. To the A minor, back to E minor, to the B7. And you can just practice that on and on and on, and gradually work on trying to relax and speed up. Not easy. Another really important thing that you want to try to do in this piece, and I'll talk about this as later on when we break down all the little changes. You really need to learn to put your left hand fingers down on these chords in the order you're going to play them. Now that should seem obvious and logical, but there are times when it's not. Some of the chords kind of defy logically doing that. Anyway, let's get in and take a look at the right hand pattern. The sequence of strings follows a really logical numerical progression, as is common in a lot of Villa Lobos stuff. But if I was you could do this the first part maybe with your thumb and your index finger just to understand the pattern. We're going to go from the 6th string, I'm playing the E minor chord, from the 6th string to the 4th, then the 5th to the 3rd. So the spacing stays the same. We could do that with a pick. This would be a great pick exercise. 6, 4, 5, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1. That's half of it. That's the ascent. There it is with my thumb and index, just so you understand the pattern. And then the return trip is done without skipping strings, going to the 2nd string and the 1st, then the 3rd, the 2nd, then the 4th and 3rd, and the 5th and 4th. So we had 8 pairs of notes total, where again the ascent skips a string and then moves 1 string higher each time. The return starts on the 2nd string and just goes up 1 string each time, then drops. Okay, now that's not how I just did it with my thumb and index so you could see the pattern. What we're really going to do is use all 3 fingers up on the top 3 strings, and that means that when in the beginning we are going to use your thumb and your index, and then your thumb's going to move to the 5th, and from now on until the end your 3 fingers are going to stay to their assigned strings. The 5th to your index finger, then your thumb comes up and hits the 4th string, and your middle finger hits the B string, then your index and your ring finger. So the ascent is T or P I P I P M I A, and the return would be M A I M P I P I. Just get your hand used to doing that as slowly as you have to for it to feel comfortable. And just for variety, you could change through chords like I was talking about before, going from E minor to A minor. Back to E minor. B7, but with F sharp in the bass. So I'm using a standard B7 fingering there, except my second finger is, instead of being on the 5th string, is on the 6th string, playing F sharp rather than the B. And then we're playing all 6 strings on all the chords. So get started with that, and I will start putting together some other parts of this now with specific suggestions on the left hand more, but get working on the right hand exercise.